The most rewarding thing for me about working at Albany Prep is to see students engaged and learning and happy.
Small school, big difference.
Small school, big difference.
She used to be terrible in math. Now it's her favorite subject. So it was like, wow.
It sinks in. However they're teaching it, it sinks in. I often hear my daughter in her room with the dry erase board practicing.
It's on a different level here. I mean, they not only incorporate academics here, but also teach respect for themselves and others.
Gratitude, generosity, respect, responsibility. And I was really excited that it's part of the school day to learn about it, that we don't just post them up on our walls.
I want her to have what I didn't have.
I want my kid to go to college. I want him to graduate.
When you think of safe, you think of issues of like school violence.
There is a secured locked door from the front and the back, and anyone who comes in must sign in.
We have phones in the room, so you can just quick phone call. You know, we never leave the room unattended.
That's just the tip of the iceberg in my mind.
We have no tolerance for bullying, none whatsoever. Fighting, none whatsoever. That doesn't go on.
We want to make sure that our kids come to school without being afraid that they're going to be picked on, that they're not going to be laughed at, that if they ask a question, that people aren't going to ridicule them.
So when a kid makes a mistake, and everyone giggles, we don't allow that because that makes a child feel so insecure. We provide an environment where that's not allowed. We're a team.
We want kids to go home at the end of the day having a good feeling about their experience at school. We create an orderly classroom, and we create a classroom that is free from bullying, free from kids making fun of each other. And we do that through what I call sweating the small stuff. We don't let little things go by.
I notice there's a way to be strict and focus without being militant.
Our expectations are enforced equally in every classroom. We're consistent.
What the expectations are in my class is the same as in their history class or language arts class, and that we are all being consistent about following the school rules and expectations as teachers.
And any expectation that we think is important enough to be in our handbook is important enough for every single member of our community to make sure that it is consistently enforced. I remember my first teaching job at a public school, a first-year teacher, over 150 students the first semester and a different 150 students the next semester. And it was hard for me within the first couple of weeks of school even to remember all the kids' names. Based on that experience, I really feel that it is key to just have a lower teacher-student ratio.
Every teacher knows every kid.
They deal with the problems if you have any.
So at Albany Prep, for every 50 kids, we have 4 teachers that are designated just for those 50 kids. So 4 teachers, each of those 4 teachers has to really get to know 50 kids really well.
Students know that when it's time to work, it's time to work. But they understand that if they need Ms. Perez or they need someone or they have to speak to you for a moment, they know that they can make a signal and you can step out in the hallway and that you can take the time out to speak to them.
If I'm like in trouble and I need help with something, or the teachers help me.
I'm thinking that maybe I'm her favorite student.
So that they can really develop relationships. We don't want any kid to fall through the cracks. We want every student to feel special. Transportation is a big issue, and we've realized that as we've talked to a lot of parents. We will provide transportation for any student regardless of how close they live to the school. Uniforms are mandatory here at Albany Prep, so we provide students free uniforms. We really think intentionally about how can we make sure as a school that we're accessible to parents. If a parent comes to the school, we want to make sure that we create an experience here for that parent.
I can come in any time.
I stopped in middle of the day unannounced.
That they feel listened to.
I can just walk in, it's like an open door policy.
And that they feel genuinely cared about.
Kids often don't tell you, oh, I got into this little bit of trouble.
And one more way in which we're convenient is every Monday of the year, a progress report comes home that shows how they're doing.
A progress report lets you know something happened twice this week or 3 times this week. I love it.
And we think that's really important to be able to provide that constant feedback for parents so that there are no surprises about how things are going at school.
A typical parent, if you don't get a phone call, everything's okay. And then when the report card would come and there'd be failing grades and negative comments, you'd wonder, why didn't I hear about this before?
If there's any problem, I get to confront it then because I already know what's the problem within that same week, not versus 2-3 months from now.
We really understand at Albany Prep what it requires to get students to the place where they're going to be successful in college. We focus a lot of attention on the basics. Our kids receive 3.5 hours of literacy instruction a day, and they receive over 90 minutes of math instruction a day.
I want to be the president when I grow up, and if I don't go to college, I won't get the proper education.
They're responsible, and they make their own choices.
When a student leaves here, they're a well-rounded student. So they're able to deal with situations that come their way that may not just be in the classroom.
Kids have to have the academic content knowledge to be successful. But on the other hand, they have to have the life skills. There are kids that go to college that have the academic content knowledge to be successful, but they don't have the life skills to be successful.
It's not only discipline within their behavior, but also within their minds.
We want to take these kids to college, and in order to go to college, you have to have self-discipline.
We, as a staff, cannot give excuses, and they cannot give excuses. They cannot come and tell me, Ms. Perez, I didn't do my homework because I had to stay up. And well, in life, you have to do certain things, and there are no excuses, just simple as that.
We make the kids be accountable for what they do and what they don't do.
And so not only do we focus on the academic side of things, but we make sure that we're providing the structure that kids need to learn how to be organized, to learn how to care for one another, to learn how to be on time, to dress appropriately, to speak politely, so that they will be able to have access to the college world.
They're learning, and they're not just committing it to memory, they actually want to learn.
I just want to go to college.
Now she's like more active, she interacts more with the other students, and she come home, she does her homework, which she never liked doing.
She wants to do her homework.
Here at Albany Prep, I've seen students that are reserved flourish and flower because the classrooms are orderly and the kids feel safe and they don't get made fun of when they ask questions. So kids that were reserved 3 months ago now are fully participating.
These teachers really want a better future for these kids.
You know, building the foundation, which he is now, is critical for his whole future.
This is the way that it should be. I know there are a lot of issues in urban education, and it's not easy, but I feel this extreme sense of satisfaction that it can work.
Right now, the choices we have, this is the better choice than any other school.
Small school.
Small school,
Teeny tiny.
Small school with a big difference.
Big difference.
Big difference.
Big difference.
Small school, big difference.